Why do we need to feel successful? So there's a deep answer. There's kind of like some people, it's like I'm talking about the feeling or rather than the need. So it's not like a bunch of stuff that you need because clearly people can have loads of stuff and still have this urge for feeling successful. You can be a millionaire, I know millionaires and stuff like that, and they still don't feel successful. So, what is this need? It's in our nature. Here's a deep answer. It's in our nature to do increasingly good things. And I'm going to explain why this is kind of how we know this, right? Um, which is part of our inherent attraction to God. So, it's getting even deeper there. Our ego tells us we need things, as in material things, to feel successful, but that does not make us feel good, right? So there are loads of people who keep having more and more stuff, but it never makes you feel good. And so here's the science, the logic bit, right? We know, psychologists have known for a very long time that the thing that makes you feel good is meaning. And you'd be like, hang on a minute, I thought I need a fancy car to feel good. So you've just been sold on by advertising on materialism. So that's not true. Okay, we feel good, and if you kind of wipe out this idea that you've been sold, then you kind of remember like, oh, I feel good when I do good things, right? If you look about like a hero in a movie, it's not the guy who just bought more stuff. You're not impressed by that person. In fact, you're probably kind of feeling sorry for them. I remember watching a documentary on Michael Jackson. He just goes into a shop and he's only got 10 seconds to buy stuff because he's always hounded by his fans, and he just goes and buys lots of things, and you kind of feel sorry for that kind of person. The cool person that you watch in a movie that does something that is a hero or a heroine is the person who risks all and does something meaningful, does something great. Oh, nice background. Let me just get Salim in. What is that? Is that a real background? Is that a real background?
It's virtual background.
Oh, I was thinking I was going to see something nice from your farm. I thought that might have
Oh,
been your farm.
Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
What Islam, peace be upon
Assalamu alaikum,
you. I'm good.
everybody. Sorry I'm late.
All right, so we're talking about success, and I don't know. Can you see on? Have you got a laptop or what is it that you're using? You're using a laptop,
Computer.
computer. So can you see that thing? My little summary. It's in. Why do we need to feel successful? And I'm giving quite a deep answer. I would say it's in our nature to do increasingly good things, and not just good things. And it's a reflection of our inherent attraction towards God, which again is a very deep answer, right? Um, and our ego tells us something else. It says, oh, we just need more stuff, more things to feel good. But that never seems to work. All the people I know, that you just get more and more stuff, and you just get used to it, and it doesn't quite make you happier. But um, we've always known, psychologists have always known, not the general population, that it's not stuff, it's meaning. And what could be more meaningful than a relationship with God? That's the only thing that doesn't disappear. Stuff, collecting stuff, you're not going to take it with you when you die. But I don't know. What do you think? Any thoughts?
Yes. Well, I mean, I kind of agree with you that modern materialism.
Hmm.
So our Western media and our Western culture tells us, like you say, that we need to collect stuff. We need to be materialistic in order to feel successful. Capitalists will say, well, the more money you've got, that will make you feel successful. All these self-help books, it's all about these kind of materialistic capitalist areas. Are we trying to feel good in front of our parents or our near ones? Are we influenced by our kids, our local community, what they think is um, successful? Or, like you say, is it through virtue, through morality and the eyes of God, i.e., why do we need to feel successful? We need to feel that we have integrity, a sense of dignity, self-dignity. That's what I think.
Yeah, so success is a kind of story you tell yourself about yourself, and you can't lie to yourself. So what is that story you're going to tell yourself about? So I was just talking about in Hollywood movies, who's the hero? It's the guy who did something sort of great sacrifice for some great good. Do you know what I mean? And you like that. People watch movies and they love that. Now, what's the alternative? It's like I was talking about Michael Jackson. When he was alive, there were documentaries on him, and he would go into a shop and he would spend $100,000 in 5 minutes, and he would have 5 minutes maximum because he would have howling fans outside, so he didn't really get time to shop. Yeah. And we would feel sorry for Michael Jackson. It's like, what kind of life is that? What kind of person is that? That he just goes into a shop, buys lots of stuff. And so if we maybe look at ourselves or step back and go, what kind of life are we living? Just buying stuff, collecting stuff. It's a bit embarrassing almost, you know. And the other thing we're being sold on is that if only we could get a little bit more comfort, or if we could get that job that allows us to be more free, right? But the problem with that mindset is that such people are willing to sacrifice their principles of freedom, like doing the right thing. So they'll do a horrible job that's really meaningless, so to eventually have that freedom. And I'm telling you that if you keep sacrificing your freedom or your principles, then when you finally get that sense of, oh, I got that job where I'm the boss and everybody has to listen to me and I'm free finally, actually you'll never be free because you become so weak by then. I don't know if that makes any sense. So if you don't practice freedom every day, you become too weak to really practice it. So I know lots of people are really well off. They're not really free. All they end up doing is watching TV by themselves in one corner, because sure, you made loads of money, right? But then you don't know how to be yourself anymore. There's a great thing. There's one of my favorite movies, V for Vendetta. Ever heard of it? Seen it?
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah. And the guy goes, one of the main characters, he's a British guy who's playing it, and he goes, we hide behind masks so long that we eventually forget who we are. Right. And so you're not free if you don't practice freedom every day. You can't be free. Don't think a job is going to buy you freedom. Okay. And we're born free is the last thing I want to say. Look at kids. Look how free they look. They don't need loads of money to eventually be free. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you're right, that we do end up going down that path that society demands from us, keeping up with the Joneses, and our self-worth, feeling good about ourselves through how many followers we have on social media or through our relationships, through, like you say, our jobs. We want to have influence, we want to have power. Some people want wealth. And you're questioning whether these things actually do make you feel successful. You know, for women, it's going to be slightly different. For men, it's slightly different in that men would have to may think, I need to be a provider. If I'm providing, I feel a self-worth, and then I feel successful. Or in the eyes of like your children, you want to be a role model. You want them to love you.
So how much stuff do you need? And actually, is that really being a role model, collecting more and more stuff and being a prisoner of your wealth? That's not, I would say that's a negative role model, although on the surface it looks like a good role model.
So it's interesting because it's not all societies that we become collectors. They have quite a minimalist
Yes.
Philosophy in Scandinavian countries, and hence IKEA. You know, where we don't clutter, we don't fill our houses with clutter in Scandinavian countries.
Hmm.
and they're the happiest people in the world apparently. So
Oh,
all this stuff that we have to buy and maintain, it doesn't do anything for our mental health.
I thought you were going to talk about Africa because both me and you've been to places in Africa, and they don't seem to have stuff, and they seem to be so much happier. And I was just talking to a friend who's been just traveling different places, part of an NGO, and he just loves being every time he goes to Africa, any place in Africa, he just loves being there. And it's not about the things, you don't, the person who's barefooted on walking barefoot on a sandy beach. You don't feel sorry for them. You go, oh, poor guy's got no shoes. Almost feel envious. It's like, oh, look how free he is. You don't need stuff to be free.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, you definitely
Yeah.
feel much more alive without these encumbrances. Is that a word?
That's an interesting point, isn't it? It's like sometimes when you're so padded up with you're so bubble wrapped safety, all that kind of stuff with wealth and stuff, you stop being alive. You almost need that sense of danger and lack of protection and lack of security to actually feel alive. So that's an interesting point, actually.